Good morning, myself A. Venkateswara. I am from Aditya College of Pharmacy. Today I am going to discuss about the pharmacognosy of Diascorea and pharmacognosy of Distalis. So coming to the first Diascorea. Diascorea is a crude drug obtained from the Diascorea deltoidea. It is also called rheumatism root and YAM. The synonyms of Diascorea root is YAM and rheumatism root. So actually it's a bulb. We see the picture of Diascorea. It's a bulb obtained from this root modification. Okay. So this is we are using as a Diascorea as a crude drug. But what is the use of this? Diascorea means actually is a precursor for the synthesis of various corticosteroidal hormones. Why? Because this Diascorea comes under the classification of the glycosides. So the glycosides, especially steroidal glycosides. So the steroidal glycosides, under that we are going to discuss about Diascorea and Distalis. So this Diascorea, what is the main sources? Is a glycoside. What is the glycoside? Diazoxanine. So diazoxanine is obtained from the Diascorea deltoidea roots and bulbs. Okay. So this Diascorea. So what is the use of Diascorea? Means actually is a precursor for the synthesis of diazoxanine. From the diazoxanine we are the using precursor for synthesis of various corticosteroidal hormones or sex hormones. Okay, from Diascorea. So what is the source of Diascorea? Means Diascorea deltoidea. It's a derived tubers or bulbs from the Diascorea root modifications. So what is the synonym of the Diascorea? YAM and rheumatism root. Okay, so what is the family of Diascorea? Diascorea is, so actually not only the Diascorea deltoidea and other species of Diascorea also we can synthesize the diazoxanine. Okay, what is the family? Diascorea. So Diascorea plant, you look at, is a plant picture, Diascorea plant. So but we are using the only tubers or bulbs, and the underground modifications we are using as a source of the drug. Okay. Where is the cultivated? So geographical source of diazoxanine, you can see that it's grown high altitude like Nepal and western Himalayas, and in India you can see the Jammu Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. In other countries like USA and Mexico also it is cultivated in Diascorea. Okay, so the major geographical source of Diascorea is in India is mainly Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir, and we can see the Nepal and western Himalayas and Mexico and USA is a major source of cultivation. So Diascorea bulb, what is the features? Organoleptic properties when comes under that it's a slight brown color. You see the picture, the bulb is slight brown color, odorless, it's odorless, but taste is very intense bitter. Because of the bitter taste, actually the tuber containing around 75% of the starch, but it's not edible because it is intense bitter. But what purpose we using the Diascorea tubers? Is containing diazoxanine is a steroidal saponin glycoside. So this steroidal glycoside we are using for the synthesis of various corticosteroidal hormones, and not only, it is also called rheumatic root. Rheumatic root means it is the drug also used for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so it's a intense bitter taste. Okay, so the various depressions are there based on the age of the tubers. Okay, it's a major morphological features of Diascorea tubers. So what is the major chemical constituents? I already said that it is a 75% of starch is present, but it is not edible because of its intense taste. Okay, intense bitter taste. Okay, as a major glycoside is diazoxanine. It's a glycone. So what is mean by glycoside? Glycoside means it contains sugar plus non-sugar part. So the glycone part is diazoxanine, but diosine is a glycoside. It contains the sugar plus diazoxanine. So we in this C3 position generally sugar moieties are attached. So that is called glycoside, but we are using here the drug is diazoxanine only. The diazoxanine useful for the precursor for synthesis of various hormones. It's a starting material for synthesis of various hormones, and also it is used in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, is the major two uses. So coming to the chemical structure, chemical moieties is steroidal glycosides are present, and also enzymes, sapogenase is present, and rich source of other glycosides also present, and phenolic compounds also present in Diascorea tubers. So what is the major chemical constituent? Some marker chemical constituent Diascorea means is diazoxanine. It's a steroidal glycoside. So it's a structure you see, it's a steroidal structure. Okay, it's a steroidal glycosides are present in it. So next, Dioscorea uses. So it's a source for synthesis of various corticosteroid hormones. So the corticosteroid hormones have various applications in the treatment of various diseases. And oral contraceptives. Oral contraceptives also hormonal preparations. So used for the contraception. For the oral contraceptive pills, they are preparing preparation. The source is diazoxanine only. Okay. Also various sex hormone like estrogen, testosterone is can be synthesized from the source of diazoxanine. So these sex hormones also synthesized by the precursor is diazoxanine. So it's a source. And also Dioscorea, what is the use, other use? It is also called rheumatic root. So the synonym maybe it came because of it is used in the treatment of rheumatic arthritis. So joint pains and all we can be used in the Dioscorea. Summary. So Dioscorea deltoides is a biological source of this plant, and what is the use of Dioscorea means it is synthesized various sex hormones and corticosteroidal hormones, and also it is used in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. What type of chemical constituents is present in Dioscorea? It is a steroidal saponin glycoside, that name is diazoxanine, is a glycan moiety of Dioscorea. Next, coming to the digitalis. So digitalis is also one of the cardiac glycoside. So the major use of digitalis is a cardiotonic. Cardiotonic means the heart is weak, it is not able to pump the enough blood to the throughout the body. So that condition, the elderly patient generally congestive heart failure condition, the digitalis is glycosides are used in the digitalis. Glycosides are various glycosides are like digoxin, digitoxin, gitoxin, like glycosides are present in digitalis. So this plant is digitalis purpurea. What is the digitalis purpurea? The flowers we see the purple color. So the plant is digitalis purpurea. There is other species also there in digitalis, that is digitalis lanata. Lanata is a source of digoxin, but digoxin is not present in purpurea, but purpurea plant containing digitoxin, okay, and gitoxin. Coming to the digitalis introduction. So the what is the synonym of digitalis? The foxglove. The digitalis synonym is foxglove as digitalis leaves. So which part we are using in the digitalis means we are using the parts, leaves only we are using as a digitalis drug. As a crude drug here we are using dry leaves of digitalis purpurea. So the plant we are discussing here is a purpurea, but digitalis there is another allied species also there, digitalis lanata, also commercially using for the production of digoxin. Digoxin also is a potent cardiotonic. Okay, so what are the digitalis? Which parts we are using? Leaves we are using. So what is the synonym of digitalis? We have to remember that it's a foxglove leaves or digitalis leaves. Okay, belongs to the family Scopioleraceae. So digitalis belongs to the family Scopioleraceae. What is the biological source? Digitalis purpurea or digitalis lanata belongs to the family Scopioleraceae. So it is required to contain at least 0.3% of carotenoids. So the leaves should containing not less than 0.3%. When the standard they mention means suppose the drug sometime is deteriorated during the transportation, during the collection, so maybe substandard. So that is the reason the standard they will specify that the leaf should contain not less than 0.3% of cardiac glycosides. Okay, so what is the cardiac glycoside? Is the principal cardiac glycoside in digitalis purpurea? Digitoxin. Okay. So after collection of the leaves is immediately subjected to the dryness. So the artificial drying not more than 60%, 60 degrees centigrade. So we are sending to the drying chambers. It should be dried below 60 degrees centigrade. So the moisture percent is very important in digitalis. So actually the moisture is very less should be there in the leaves. If the moisture percent is more than 5% in digitalis leaf, it degraded, because the chemical nature of digitalis glycosides will be damaged, because the leaves containing two enzymes, that is oxidase and digipurpuresidase. These two enzymes act to when the moisture is more than 5%. This enzymes breaks the digitalis glycosides, so the nature of digitalis glycosides will be degraded. So that is the reason the moisture percent is very important in digitalis leaves. So when we are collecting the leaves, immediately subject to the dryness, should be not more than 60 degrees centigrade. So less than 60 degrees centigrade we need to dry properly. The moisture should be not more than 5%. If moisture is more than 5%, the leaves not useful as a medicine. The 0.3% we mentioned that digitalis glycoside, the percentage we can't receive from that same good quality leaves also. So it's a biennial herb. What is the mention that it's a biennial herb means it's the plant will grow the 2 years. Generally the plantation will be done in every 2 years. So no need to done every year. So plantation is done in every 2 years. The plant also start bearing in the first year. So actually they have the two types of leaves, sessile leaves and rosette leaves. The first time they will produce the sessile leaves, and after that rosette leaves. After flowering season is started, the leaves are collected. So that time only we are using for the medicinal purpose. So because the glycoside content is high in during the flowering season. So after flowering season started, we collecting the leaves. So generally for propagation purpose we are using the seed propagation we are using. So what type of soils we required for the cultivation of digitalis is calcareous and soil is sandy, and calcareous soil is very good for the cultivation. So seeds is very small and very less weight. So generally 100 seeds are present in 100 seeds weigh around 40 to 70 milligrams. So the seeds are very small size, so that we have to mix with fine sand, and when we have to grow initially nursery bed, after planted seedlings are transplanted into the September and November month to the field. Okay. So the crop is free from the weeds, and we need to provide frequent irrigation and manures and everything we required. So plantation is done in every 2 years. So it is a biennial herb. Followed by the fruiting is a month of April. Flowering is started. The flowering starting season only we are collecting the leaves. After collecting the leaves, we immediately sending to the drying purpose. Okay. So we already discussed that the 5% of moisture percent, the leaves should be present not more than 5% of moisture. If moisture is more than 5%, the two enzyme systems are present in the digitalis, that is glycoside digipurpurosidase and oxidase. These two enzymes are activated. Because of these two enzymes, the digitalis glycoside's quality will be degraded, deterioration will be takes place, so that moisture percentage in the leaves, the crude drug is very important here. So after dryness also we have to pack it in such a way that airtight container, so that it's not absorb any moisture from the outside. Okay, the packing also very important. So the macroscopic characters of the leaves, we see that it's a dark grayish green color and odorless. So the odor of the leaves is odorless, but this taste is distinct bitter taste is there. So length 10 to 30 and 4 to 10 centimeters width will be there. So the leaves are shape is ovate or lanceolate. Ovate means the leaf, see, it's a ovate, like the leaf shape is ovate or lanceolate, somewhat this shape. So it's a acute means the leaf's edge is a sharp edge. So the shape of the leaves, based on that, it's a ovate or lanceolate, and petiolate, petals will be there. Here the small petals will be there, so it is called the petiolate type of leaves will be present in digitalis. And also digitalis we have the two types of leaves. In the first year there is a rosette and sessile leaves. Rosette means rose petals of it is there. The leaves, when you are seeing the outermost area, the leaves will be look like a rosette, rose petals. Sessile means is the alternate leaves will be there. Suppose like this we can see. Okay. So base is dentate. Dentate means the leaf when the see that. So like this margin will be there, the leaf you call as a dentate margin will be there. Subacute, apex is subacute, not acute. So acute means if the leaf is very sharp. Subacute means somewhat is a acute position will be there in the apex. Okay. Crenate or dentate, why the margin is crenate or dentate? With dentate means the margin will be like a dental arrangement, like margin will be there. Other crenate means somewhat is not sharp. Okay, sharp edges will be there. So So both surfaces are pubescent. Pubescent means the leaf is both surfaces hairy structures will be there. So that is the reason they say that it is a pubescent leaves. Okay, coming to the microscopy, it says the leaf is dorsiventral. So what is the dorsiventral? Then when you are studying the microscopy of the leaves, we are using here two terms like dorsiventral leaves or isobilateral leaves. What are the two types of microscopy of leaves? Dorsiventral leaves or isobilateral leaves. Isobilateral means the upside and downside of the leaf microscopy will look similar, but dorsiventral means the upper side and lower side of leaf surface is not similar. That type of leaves called as dorsiventral. So distalis leaf is a dorsiventral leaf. So upside and downside of my transfer section TS of distalis leaf is not same. Okay. So what type of stomata is present? It having the anomocytic stomata. So anomocytic stomata is present in distalis leaf. So stomatas are different types like anomocytic, dicytic, parasitic, anisocytic. Stomata means external openings. So generally it passes the air and water. So it regulates the internal temperature of the leaf, and gaseous exchange is the major function of the stomata. So anomocytic stomata means stomata is an opening. The stomata is covered by guard cells. So after that, how many epidermal cells covered by this stomata is based on that dicotyledon plant stomata were classified into the dicytic, anisocytic, parasitic and anomocytic. So it is anomocytic. Anomocytic means the stomata is covered by number of subsidiary cells is unequally arranged. So is more than 3. The subsidiary cells are more than 3 and unequally arranged around the stomata. But in dicytic and parasitic, the stomata is covered by only 2 subsidiary cells. Okay, leave it that one. So what is the stomata is present in distalis? Is anomocytic stomata is present. So covering and glandular trichomes. So the leaf containing both covering trichomes and glandular trichomes are both is present in upside and downside. Both sides are we can see the covering trichomes. We see the structure of microscope of distalis leaf. So what I said, dorsiventral leaf. So if we see the surface of the distalis, the lower surface we can see different structure, and upper side we have the upper epidermal side we have the different look. So it's a dorsiventral leaf. So epidermis we see the both side we have the covering and glandular trichomes. So these are the covering trichomes and these are the glandular trichomes. So the distalis leaf have both covering and glandular trichomes. The covering trichomes are multicellular and uniserrate. Uniserrate means only one line. Okay, it's a multicellular, number of cells. Okay, we can see. So these cells are, this covering trichomes also, distalis very characteristic structure. It is a collapsed cell covering trichomes, is a specific for distalis. So we can identify based on this distalis leaves. So distalis leaf containing collapsed cell covering trichome, and also they having the glandular trichomes. The glandular trichomes is a multicellular head, and unicellular stalk is present in distalis. So this is also an advantage. And also distalis doesn't containing sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma means stone like cells. So the strong cells is not present in distalis leaf, but sclerenchyma collenchyma is present in 3 areas. So it is a collenchyma. If you see the below the upper epidermis and above the lower epidermis and between the pericycle region, there is a 3 areas collenchyma is present in distalis. Okay, in this picture actually collenchyma is not shown here, but collenchyma is present in distalis 3 regions, that is pericyclic region, below the upper epidermis and above the lower epidermis. Okay. And also calcium oxalate crystals are absent in distalis. You see that calcium oxalate crystals is free from the distalis leaf. So there is no calcium oxalate crystals in distalis. But and also sclerenchyma also absent in distalis, and starch grains are present and collenchyma is present. Very important in the collenchyma. What is the important in collenchyma? Collenchyma is present in 3 distinct areas, that is below the upper epidermis, between the pericyclic region and above the lower epidermis. Okay, and also trichomes also very important feature. They have the covering trichomes and glandular trichomes. The covering trichomes again it is a multicellular and uniserrate collapsed cell covering trichomes. So the cell is collapsed. So collapsed cell covering trichomes are present in distalis leaves. So chemical constituents, distylis, it contains generally 0.10. So what is the standard? We said that 0.3% of distoxin, but generally the range of distylis leaf, what is the range of distylis glycoside? 0.2 to 0.45, both primary and secondary glycosides. So what is the primary glycoside in distylis? Means purpura glycosides A and B. So the what is the primary glycoside in distylis? Purpura glycosides A and B. After hydrolysis, it releases the secondary glycosides like distoxin and getoxin. The what do you mean by here? Glycosides, upon hydrolysis, it releases the sugar moieties and it produces the distoxin. Distoxin also glycoside. So the glycoside means it contains 3 molecules of sugars and cardiac aglycan moiety, both combined together form the distoxin, and getoxin also same, like it's a glycoside. So aglycan means only the aglycan moiety, there is no sugar moiety. So here distoxin also they have the sugar plus non-sugar. Okay. So primary glycosides are less stable and less significant as a pharmacological action, so that we are using the distoxin and getoxin for the pharmacological actions. Okay. So it's a aglycan structure is a distoxygenin. So getoxygenin, distoxygenin. In the third position, actually 3 molecules of distoxin as a sugar moiety attached here, we call as a distoxin and getoxin. So based on that, see the functional groups are altered. So if it is a getoxin, it is the structure is altered, and distoxin the structure is different, but both glycosides having the cardiac glycosides, so they have the cardiac nucleus. The nucleus is pentacyclic penanthrin. So it's a pentacyclic nucleus. So it is a cardiac glycoside. It is used for the congestive heart failure. What is the use of this cardiac glycosides? Means it's a cardiotonic. Actually, distylis is a cardiotonic to pump the blood very fast with the help of this cardiotonics. So it is generally used in the congestive heart failure. The congestive heart failure condition, the elderly patients generally not able to pump the enough blood, so that they feel the tired. So the palpitation and sweating will be there in that condition. So this in the congestive heart failure condition, distylis glycoside like digoxin and distoxin we are using. Storage. So storage is very important. Why I said this? So for if it is moisture percentage is more than 5%, the quality of the distylis glycosides will be degraded because of the enzyme systems. So we should be stored in well closed and well maintained temperature, and we have to cool climatic condition. We have to store the distylis leaves. So adulterants, we are using the mullein leaves and comfrey leaves. They are looking similar, but they have the less percentage, are not free from the distylis glycoside. They are looking similar leaves. So these are the generally adulteration purpose. They are using the mullein leaves and comfrey leaves. Okay. Thank you.